them, it's like they were just summarizing what I went through, including Mrs. Izu. She's not there now, and she happened to be, in one of the banks that we had accessed, some loan facilities from. Well, like Shino introduced, my name is Ojeabulu, and the story started some decades ago, specifically when I was in primary 5. And I was used to reading newspapers. And there was a particular advert of a cough syrup that was consistently going on advert in a particular newspaper. I was in primary 5 then. And then some thoughts started roaming on my mind. Can I do something like this? That I should be able to do something like this. That a day will come that my products will be in the newspaper. And I may be somewhere, maybe anywhere, and then my products will be everywhere. So that was what generated my becoming a pharmacist, because I could have read any other course by the grace of God. So that story started in primary 5. I can remember the very day, I can remember the very time, and everything about the genesis of this story. And then, I went through the primary school, and then secondary school, then in fact, when I was to pick concert, they call it concert in those days, not jump, I decided to pick pharmacy. Nobody asked me. I just decided. I had my siblings, everybody around me to influence me, to choose a course. But many years back, my choice had been made. And so it was very easy for me. And so I went through school. And then when I came out, the first thing that knocked me was I needed, how do I get a job? And it has to be production. Because that's where the passion lies. And then, then you could walk into any pharmaceutical company, they will give you a job. So I went to Pfizer. They now name it. Mazi was there. And then somebody, but then before I went there, I did not know Mazi. There was one Mr. Kende, was I think the national sales manager. I happened to serve under the wife who was a worker, and I served under as an intern pharmacist in the Railway Medical Center. The husband was the manager in Pfizer then. So the woman, when we got talking, what do you want to do? Where do you want to work? And things like that. Well, I told her my passion is in production. I'm not interested in sales. I'm not interested in marketing, even though the money was there then. And probably the money is still there. I knew that in production, before the month ends, you are broke. And then the wife told me to see the husband. Sorry, I have to just, fast track it. The wife told me to see the husband. I saw her in the office where where Nemet is. He was occupying one of these container offices. So the man told me, you have a choice. My wife has spoken about you, but I want you to see Mazi. Where do you want to work? You want to go to production? And then he gave me, some frightening figures about what they pay in production, very low. And then he said, but if you are in sales, if you are in marketing, that you could make some extra money for yourself and things like that. I said, oh God, I'm not interested in sales and marketing. In fact, he was shocked. And then he said, well, you can see Mazi. Then I went to see Mazi. He was in sales and marketing then. So Mazi tried to talk to me. You want to be. I told him, well, I'm not interested in sales and marketing. He said, go and think about these things. And then in between, there was a company. They just came into the country and they were just, it was a startup. They were building their factory and all of that. Then I got an information that they were looking for a production pharmacist. In fact, I ran there. Then we did the interview, went through the normal thing, and then eventually I got engaged. But what they were offering me, was much, much lower than what they would have even offered me in Pfizer. Because Ekunda happened to be in Pfizer then. He was already in Pfizer, working in production. So, and then we started the whole thing, and I knew where I was going. I already had a vision, I already knew what I wanted. And so, I gave myself a timeline, how many years I was going to spend in that place, after which I was going to opt out. And I got in touch with a few friends. Some of them were classmates. We finished together from Ifeanyi. We were interfacing. Some were doing marketing sales. I would interact with them. We talk, And then at a point, I met Ekunda. He came to my place. Then he left Pfizer. He joined, I think, I came to one of the programs. Ekunda came to give his testimony. And then he joined Doing. When he joined Doing, and then I decided to interface. In the course of that was about the 6th year in that company. I decided that at the 7th year I was going to leave. But I didn't want to meet anybody for money to start a business. So what I did, I started saving little by little. And then I was able to buy a car for myself because they didn't give me a car. I was doing a locum, because I was living with my uncle at Ikeja then, and he didn't know what I was planning. He was a one-time commissioner of Lagos here too. And then I really worked myself to the bones. In fact, I was almost doing 2 locum then. There was a chemist in 1004 then. I would just go there when I leave, wherever, right from the time I was doing my internship. I was doing locum, youth service. I tried to influence it to Lagos, and I did so many things to ensure that I was able to, to gather some money. And then I started this job. And then at the 6th year, I made up my mind that at the 7th year, I was going to, resign. Then I started saving, interacting with some pharmaceutical companies that were into production. There was a company it's defunct now. I've forgotten what they called the name. If you are going towards the Ikeja, they used to be at the intersection. Imase, yes, thank you very much. I went to Imase. I interacted with the production people there. I made friends with them. I wanted to really see, in addition to the experience I had gathered. We interacted, we formed my, formulation, because then I wanted to really know how to go into formulation. And I was taught formulation in that company where I had worked. And that was the thing, one of the things that made me not to go to Pfizer. I said, when I go to Pfizer, they will give me ready-made formulations, and they will not know the theory behind all of this. And some of them will be coded and things like that. So I decided to interface with quite a lot of companies, pharmaceutical companies that were in production. I was not interested in interfacing with their marketing or sales department. And then eventually I started saving some money, buying some, semi-automatic machines, capping machines, filling machines, and it's like God was really working. It was a lot of challenges came along the way. And then when I left the job, Ekunda was in Doing then, I told him I wanted to leave. In fact, the design, the artwork of the first product, he brought it to me. He said, look, this is the thing I'm planning. Because he had a friend who was working in the company at the Doe marketing. He mentioned it the other time. They had their office there who was to help him in marketing. So he told me, I told him, look, then he was in Doing. I said, I needed some money to be able to upscale what I have in order to be able to acquire some machines. So he said, okay, what we do? I will introduce you to our chairman. That's why I remain ever grateful to him. Mr. Ekunda is not here now. He introduced me to Doing to be supplying bottles. And then we had worked because of the relationship, because relationship is very key. And I had an Indian MD. When I left, they placed me, I told them I was going. They didn't want to release me. So on the 8th year, they placed me on consultancy that I could see consult for them in production. So they paid me some money then. And then, because of the rapport, the relationship I had with him, he connected me. He said, because we were bringing in all kinds of things in that company. We're supplying caps, PP caps to virtually all the companies in Lagos except Mopsin then. Swift, all of them. So So I knew all the rudiments, glass bottles, finished products, raw materials. In fact, these were part of the things I crafted that I was going to build into my business, because of what I saw was happening. So I told the MD after I left, I said, look, these bottles you are bringing from India, I have, some suppliers that I could make supplies to. He said, I know you are a man of integrity. I know that you are a believer, because with the time I gave my life to the Lord, it was very clear. The MD knew it. He knew that this man is now changed. He knew my past life, and then he knew my later life. So on the basis of trust, he said, okay, he could release some, so many thousands of glass bottles to me. So I met the owner, the chairman of Doyin. We were interacting. In fact, at the point, the man wanted me to cross over to Doyin. But I looked at the direction. I looked at the way the man was running the business, because I was very close to him. He shared very personal things with me. I saw the way the children, when he told me about the children, he told me about how he built this. He had one plan, 2 billion naira. Then, I'm talking of decades back. He told me he built that factory from his own pocket. We were very close. So, and I was putting my own commission on those bottles. So my former MD will release the bottles to me, and then on credit. And then at the time, Doyin will give me the check, because you had to personally see him for those checks to be released. And around that kind of it, I was able to make quite some savings. And then at a point, then I met Ekunda again. I said, look, I need, if you can give me, I don't know, I think it will have been God-led. I told him, I know you are doing consultancy for, there was one man, he's late now. He had a factory in the east. He consulted for that man to set up the factory, and Nick Ben, that's the name. Nick Ben Pharmaceuticals. The man was in Lagos. So he introduced me to Nick Ben. He had his office at Sulere. So I started supplying some raw materials. And then from there I was able to save some money from the raw materials, and then from the glass bottles and some other packaging materials. In fact, I went into PP cap supplies, because these were businesses I was exposed to, in my workplace. I'll buy from some Indian companies because of the good relationship I had with my previous MD. I got to know some other companies who were bringing these caps. Some were at Maturi and all of that. So they extended credit facilities to me, because they saw the way I started, and they actually wanted to come in. So with all of this put together, I was able to raise some sizable amount of money. And then now we were looking for a premises. And then we eventually got a place somewhere at K2. It was a bungalow. And then when the woman knew what we wanted to, it was still in the building. They had roofed it, but they had not finished it. So I went there with my wife, and then we told the woman that this is what we wanted to do. From that point, she handed off the construction work, and she said we should complete it and do it to our own, taste. Eventually, we started that thing, and then we paid. In fact, at the point when we were to go for inspection, the late Rafin Daddy, he was the registrar of PCN then. He was my friend, and then I told him this is what I wanted to do. And then he came around. He told me, of course, I knew the requirements for my exposure in production, what the NAFDAC would need. And then he looked at the place, said, okay, you can start. And then at a point, I got confused whether I should even go into wholesale again. My vision was about being distracted. And then I came to PSN office. I told them I wanted to start wholesale. Then they sent, I can't remember whether that chap is still around in the industry now. They proposed him to come and inspect our place for wholesale. At a point, I told the chap, no, don't worry. I want to continue my manufacturing. So many things came along the line. Challenges are going to come. But thank God, to cut the long story short, we started. And then I invited NAFDAC. Then NAFDAC came, and then, they were not as stringent as, because the stakes are very, very high now. In fact, I could look back and see, that if I were to start a business now, how was I to fare? So the business started, and right from day one, I made up my mind that I did not want to build a one-man business. I wanted to build an institution. And so I started from that level, just like Mrs. Izu said. Then I put up a structure of how the whole layout was going to be in terms of organogram. Started it in. I said I was going to pay salary to myself. My wife, she's an engineer. She had left her job. She joined me. I said, we must run this race together. We must swim together. And then I will collect the salary, plow it back to the business. So for quite a number of years, we're not really any what you can say salary, because I was not taking the salary home. We plow it back to the business. And then eventually, God helping us, we started growing, and then the sales department started growing, QA and all of that started putting it in place. Then a point came, AfriBank. I will never forget. There was a branch manager they had there. The man saw the way, the whole account was being run. He came to approach me. I went to the bank one day. He said, "Oh God, we can help you, because looking at, the way you are running your account, we can give you an OD." And I am averse to loans personally, right from time. I'm averse to the bank and everything. I wanted to do it, take my time to do it my own way. And I had a financial advisor, just like what Okeakpa said. I had people that I could talk to in the area of finance and all of that, although they were not my key staff. Though we had an accounting staff who was in charge, then somebody to take care of all this petty cash. But outside, I needed to interface with all these other bigger people who had more experience in the various segments of the business. So the person told me, "Look, this business will not grow if you don't go to the bank." And the man, I went back. The man, he saw me one day. I went there. He said, "I can advance you 250,000 naira OD." It was big money there. Reluctantly, I said, "Okay, I acceded." We started running and we were paying back. In fact, at a point, we were not making use of that OD. In fact, for years, we didn't use that OD, because OD depends, if you have more credit, you swallow whatever negative thing is there. So the account was always in positive. So, and that's how God helped us, grew the business. And then it came to my mind, because I have a structure, a future developmental plan for the organization. Right from time. At a point, we grew to a number of products. I said, this is where we're going to take this company to. We want this so number of products in a given number of years. This is where we're going to go to. Just like what Okeakpa do. You need to have that kind of projection. And then we got to that phase. And then a year came. We were members of NCCI, Nasima, PMGMA, decided I would join all these associations, these trade groups. And then we visited. The opportunity that turned everything around came when I joined the facility inspectors to Cairo. We went to Alexandria and under PMGMAN and NAFDAC. In fact, the late DG of NAFDAC, we traveled together to Cairo and Alexandria on facility inspection, because I've been looking forward. And then we went. It was, I think, if I can remember properly, okay, Lola, I don't know whether it's still in the house. Okay, still there. He was part of that team. Before then, we had bought 4 plots at Ikorodu, where we wanted to build a permanent site. And then this opportunity came. We went to Cairo for facility inspection. We inspected WHO GMP compliant factories. In fact, it was a very hectic, trip. We leave our hotel room in the morning. They came, they received us as a government delegation with the DG. Odumodo was on that trip. The major CEO of these big companies were all together. And then when I came back from that trip, in fact, that trip changed the whole thing. When I saw WHO compliant factories, and then I came back, I told my wife, things are changing. Those 4 plots of land we bought at Korodu, that will not be sufficient. We are leaving that place. In fact, we had to sell that land. And then we started looking for land. Coincidentally, we got some place on the Lagos-Ibadan Express Road. And then it was a huge place. And then I got the owner of the land directly. We spoke to him. We worked out a payment plan. And, You know, it was quite expensive. And then I now looked at it. We now had, because at that time we're still at K2. We drew out the plan and then we segmented the whole thing. We said when we get there, these are the number of years we hope to spend in continuing our present, and then we are going to add other dosage forms after that. Because eventually we want to go to SVP. We have all of that on the line. And then we needed to approach the bank. And they saw, and I think Mrs. Izu worked in that bank that we were domiciling accounts with. So the manager saw the way the account was going. And then eventually that bank swallowed up AfriBank. You know, they acquired AfriBank. And then we approached them. We were taking loans and they saw the whole thing. We started that construction. In fact, I made up my mind that I was closing my eyes. 5 minutes. I hope I'll be able to go through. There are quite a number of things that I would have loved to share. So eventually, they extended those loan facilities to us at commercial rates. At commercial rate, we were taking loans. I'm talking of not small money. Ms. Izu mentioned CBN loan. We went for that loan. And there's a testimony I'd like to share about you about that CBN loan. Normally CBN is not a money deposit bank. Every loan they are giving out, you have to go through the commercial bank. Then we were still having some money, with this particular bank. After the series of loans, it ran into hundreds of millions. After the series of loans we are taking. And then we needed to pay. But one of the conditions for accessing that CBN loan was that you must have zero thing with any other bank. You must not be owned any bank. Then, I said, prayerfully, we are going to go. Because, when you are running a business, be very transparent. There's a particular group in that bank that, that manages our own account. I never met the head of that account. But the day came, they invited me to a program in Muson Center. That was the first time I interfaced with a lady who was heading that group in the bank. He said, "Are you Oak Faith?" I said, "Look." She called all the members of her team. He said, "Come and see Oak Faith. Oh. They have been doing so many things when nobody knew about Oak Faith. We have never seen them, but we have been seeing their account." Meanwhile, we had to apply for that CBN loan. Then the woman approached me. She said, "Look, we know that you have approached our management for this loan, this CBN loan. And they returned that application. They say that loan was not, they invalidated, it said it was not valid. But the MD, I don't know the MD from Adam of that bank. He said the MD personally wrote an undertaking to the governor of CBN that this loan, I know these people, that they are going to pay back that money. He said, look, if you know how to pray, this was a Monday. If you know how to pray, go and start praying so that this money will scale through. Well, at the end of the day, I finished from that program. I went home. My brethren, on Wednesday, I got a call. An alert came. They credited our account with that CBN loan. With a little amount that we're still owing that bank. Praise the Lord. So, with this, in fact, then we paid all of this, paid the CBN loan and everything. They monitored how the money was going, and they saw the inflow and outflow and everything. Then, we now moved into the factory. It took us about 8 to 10 years. Mr. Oshia was part. We decided to do, in fact, I went to Copenhagen for WHO meetings because we're looking ahead for WHO, CGMP. So we crafted the flow, everything about the organization, everything around WHO facility. And then eventually we moved in there. It was quite some money. And the banks, they were willing to give. In fact, one of the time, the ED of that bank visited us. I think she had left the bank. Lagos State gave her an appointment sometime. So she said, if we needed more money, I said, we don't need more money. But we want to concentrate on the business. So eventually, we wanted to take the business to the next level. Wanted to go into capsules, OROS, solid dosage forms, creams, ointments, and gels. And then after that, we moved to injectables. SVP, LVP, and all of that. All of this and the making. So a time came, because many years ago I applied to BOI. Then BOI is like the documentation you have to do is like this. HIP. At a point I got discouraged because I knew they would start making some demands that I was not ready to satisfy. So I abandoned the application. So about last year I got a call. I was on the road. Are you this? Are you C? Yes, I said I am this. I confirmed. Did you apply for BOI loan some many years? I said I did, but I never wanted to to go through. He said it's now simpler that I should come. They are ready to give me money and all of that. I said, well, I hope the story has changed. And then they said I should give them my address. I gave them my office address. BOI put up some companies. They call them BDSP. They help to facilitate the loans and all of that. So they came to my office, and then they decided that they were going to give us some loans, and they told us all the documentation. Of course, another thing you need to do, right from onset, you need to structure your business very well. Because right from day one, we appointed an external auditor to audit our accounts. Right from day one, I appointed an external auditor because truly, I wanted to know how the business was going. I didn't want anything, and we so ran that business. We ran and open. You see, I was different from that. I'm different from the business, just like every other staff. And then all these visions that I'm talking about, I carry my staff along. I'll share them. In fact, we travel together, sometimes outside. And then God gave us opportunities to travel some facilities outside the country to see, how they manage their production facility. We've gone to Togo. There's a particular company there by one Lebanese. He told me his story. And all these things help to put flesh, an encouragement. But all of this, I'm telling you, they are now without challenges. I dare to tell you, one of our colleagues, we started together. At a point, he had to, he closed business. He went to Canada. And he couldn't stand the rigors, because in production, I dare to tell you, it's like you're swimming against the tide. You are running a complete system. When they talk of a business outfit, you are running a complete system. You are not in the service industry, but you are running service centers there. So many things you have to contend with. Is it the regulatory? Is it FRS? Is it Lagos State? Is it, all kinds of things. All these challenges will come. But what will keep you going is that passion. You have to have that passion. Because when the chips are down, it is that passion that will keep you going. And you have to deny yourself. Sacrificially, at a time, my wife and myself were just using one car. It's not as if we couldn't afford to buy that. But we denied ourselves to ensure that this business, because we're looking for this business beyond our generation. Because we wanted to build, and we want to build an institution, not just a one-man business. And I shared all this vision with my staff. In fact, last week we were in India. Because of the expansion program we are putting in place, we've been, going here and there and all of that. They shared this vision. In fact, tomorrow we're going to do a Skype meeting with a company. So whenever you are running an organization, let the people around you, because they are the drivers of that business. When you are not there, I think somebody that does something, because she now happens to be doing something with us. He has a consultant, and I was outside on vacation. And then he was shocked that all the decisions that needed to be taken, I didn't need to be around. So he sent a text to me and called me. Oga, how did you get this done? That is Dr. Keshinro. Just to be open. He called me. I said, well, the structure we are running, is so structured that we are not running a one-man business. We are running a business that should run on itself. All we are doing, we want to put systems in place so that whoever comes in, you jump into the system and the system will be driven. But all of this, I'm telling you, it takes a lot of sacrifice in terms of time, in terms of resource, every resource. Is it anything you can think about? Self-denial. In fact, at the time when the IPP of the immediate past president of PCM, when he visited our factory, in fact, he took him, he came with some members of the team of the ESCO. They spent almost a whole day there. And then we met some weeks back in India again. When he saw something we were doing for Shino, he said, Chris, you know, we have taken it to, I said, well, you know us. So what am I saying? If you want to run an enduring business, you have a price to pay. A price to pay. But steadily, God being on your side, because the God factor is very fundamental and basic.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start with the apology. I told Chuko that I'm not feeling 100%, and that's why I didn't start with you. And you can see signs in my voice. My name is Ifeanyi Atueyi. I am known by Pharmanews, but permit me to make introduction because I didn't start at Pharmanews. When I finished high school in 1960, sorry, if you were not born at that time, don't worry. I had my physics, chemistry, zoology, and it was difficult for me to make a choice what to study. Difficult. And just by chance, you know, at that time we applied to all the universities. I put pharmacy at the University of Ife because they said they were having the first batch of Pharm degree. So that became an incentive to go. But what sent me there actually was that Pfizer offered a scholarship, very rich scholarship, for 2 people. And they asked me that there's one available for me. I said, okay, with the scholarship and Pharm, I should go. But the challenge was I didn't know what to do with my pharmacy. That is why when I finished pharmacy in 1964, when I finished, as soon as I finished, I rushed down to Pfizer here and started work in June 1964 as a medical rep in 1964. But from my career, I was confused. I didn't know what to do. In Pfizer, I was unstable. You know, Pfizer was the best company, and we received the best training as medical reps. But I didn't see where I was going. I didn't know. So, I disagreed with the sales manager, Dr. Opara, he's still around. And in fact, I had to leave. I went to WAD. That was running a very beautiful retail outfit in Lagos. I was there. But I didn't see me making any career. And I was about to go to Ife because they failed us. They didn't offer all the degree. They said you should come back and still do the degree for said. So I said I must go and do it. So WAD, I was uncomfortable. I moved. I went to HB and Sons that promised big money. 1966, there was coup. And the Oga said the business will no more take off. And he gave me a 3-month salary in lieu of notice. So I made a good money there to go back to Ife. But then that was January, February. And I needed to do something before going back to the university. So I entered the Federal Ministry of Health. I told the chief I wanted work. And I was posted to Ebute Meta Health Center in 1966. I think I was the first pharmacist posted there. And, but over there was no work. Because the building structure was faulty. And I was hovering around. In any case, since salary was going, why do I worry? And then they asked me to go to a health center, Randall Avenue. I was there. And there I confirmed my admission to the university to start in September. So I was hanging around at the health center. I didn't like the job, but I was hanging around until September. I ran away and went to Ife. Why? Because people were running away because of the coup. Igbo people were running home. I said I was running home, so I ran too, but I didn't run home. I stopped up Ife for my degree. When I finished Pharm, I came back to Lagos and joined Toki, ran one of his branches. But Toki was the first to start chain pharmacies. I had one at Ajele. So, but I knew I wasn't going to make a career. I left and entered production. I went to Nigerian Chemical Services. There I stayed longest as production manager, 5 years. And then I found myself in marketing. I went to Briscoe, marketing manager. Stayed 3 years. There was something that caused me to leave. And I had to leave. I'm only introducing myself. But from 1979, that's 40 years, I have been on my own running Pharmanews. I believe in one thing which I found in the Bible, in Psalm 32 verse 8, that God takes you to the best pathway for your life. And that's what He has done all along. Up to 1978, I didn't know what to do with my Pharm. I was confused. But it was end of 78 that God told me why I'm actually a pharmacist. And He was preparing me to go into what He had prepared for me. I believe that there are natural and spiritual principles which, if you obey, you succeed. They are spiritual, they are natural, and obedience will make you a successful person. That means I have my own definition of success. When you have obeyed the natural and spiritual principles. It is not when you have owned an aircraft or built a multi-story buildings. No. When you are doing what God has asked you to do, and you are becoming what God has planned that you should be, that is success. Why I'm a happy man today is that I count myself successful, because I truly believe that what God planned that I should do, I am doing. And the person He planned that I should be, I am becoming. God has got assignment for everyone He has created. These could be personal, it's personal, it could be general, but there are specific things because we are unique individuals. There are things God has said you must do, and no other person is in a position to do it. Do you believe that? That's why you are unique individual. And where your uniqueness is demonstrated, you are valuable there. You are important there. And it's difficult to fill that position. Nobody can fill it the way you have or you're feeling it. And God has got plans and purpose for everyone created. If he has no plans for you, he has no business creating you. So my business is to find out what God said I should do. What are his plans for me? What is God's purpose for my life? This is the challenge of everyone. If you are in alignment with where God wants you to go, there are certain things you must experience, you must see. But if you are not, there are certain challenges and problems you must be having. It's either yes or no. In fact, my prayer is that everyone here should be in that place God has placed before you. I still believe that Pharmanews we are talking about was there before I was born in 1939. I'm 80 in October 1. Pharmanews was there. But God was looking for somebody who will bring it to life. It was there before me. And I was created to bring it out to people to see. And it is so for everyone, every individual. There's something you must contribute on earth. Otherwise, you are not a unique individual. When I see Jeremiah 29:11, the assurance there is that the plans for me are for good. The plans he has for me are for good, not for evil, to have my expected end. And when God has said, you are going to do this, as Christians, I know we are Christians, we are born again. When he has given you an assignment, he equips you for that assignment. And he provides for you to do it. Because when you succeed, you are pleasing him. But if you fail, you have disappointed God. And God does not want anybody to disappoint him. So he provides what you need. And that's why he has promised us in Philippians 4:19 that he will supply your needs. If you want money, he will supply if it's actually your need. If you want people in your office, he will supply. You tell him, God, you promise that you supply my need. My need now is to get an apartment. My need is to get a block of building for my business. That's why how God does it. To make sure that he, God, is happy himself that his work is being done. That is why we can claim that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Those things God has said you are meant to do, you can do through his strength, not your own strength. And in serving God, there's a principle we must know. It is spiritual and it is natural. I found it in the scripture in Colossians 3:23 when Paul was telling slaves, now, you are slaves. These are your masters. But this assignment, do it as unto God. Why? Because the reward will come from God and not from any man. So this principle of work, I have applied. And I do my work as I'm serving God. When I taught to Ochiko, he said I should give my secret of success. I said, if I give out my secret, what do I hold to myself? So I will not release my secret too. But What is interesting is that their secret God gave me. And I wrote it down. I wrote it down when I was not reading the Bible. But it was when I became Christian that I knew that this is actually in the Bible. I didn't know. When in December, God told me clearly what to do and how to do it, I wrote it down. And it's all here. This is my secret. Michelle, come and tell all the dates. Come and tell all the date. Tell all the date of this document.
The date of this document is 21st of December 1978.
Good. So, I don't want to bother you with the content of this. But this is where I put down all that God has asked me to do. Whether you call it business plan, whether you call it projection, or whatever name you call it, they have been documented here. And I keep it always with me. I don't go out with it. I don't want somebody to steal it. So I don't hold it like that. Why? Because it is a reference point. It's a reference point. And that's how my business started. He said, you are starting in May. I said, yes. He said, I will pay from May to December. And then every January, you come, we renew the contract January to December. Don't give out these spaces to anybody until I say I am no more continuous, and I'll pay you up front. That was 1979. And the money he paid me was a check which I took to Afribank in Ikeja to open an account. And from 1979 to today, I've been using that money. That was my seed money. When I come to meetings and people are talking of loans and bank, I have no experience of any bank. I have never gone to anybody to ask for money. Gone to bank to ask for money. Banks keep my own money. Well, because I have hated borrowing. And the word of God had told me that if I borrow anybody, I'm a slave to that person. And I believe that if God had kept me without asking anybody for a kobo up to this time, I will not ask again for any other thing. I don't want to give you testimony how God provided in everything, but I'm telling you the business I do, I have no experience. I can be a part of teaching, go to Bank of Industry, but not for me. Not for me. Well, I said desire. There's something I have found out about desire. You know, I'm talking of spiritual and natural laws. If God has given you an assignment, it is God who will lay it on your heart to go and do it. God will put the desire inside you to go and do it. If God doesn't put the desire inside you, there's nothing like passion, no commitment. And it's spiritual. Philippians 2:13. Say it is God who will work in you to will, to do his purpose, to please him, to do that assignment. It is God who will put desire in me so that I can walk around the Pharmanews. That is spiritual. And that is natural. You cannot achieve anything without desire, without passion. And one God has promised that if the desire is from what you want to do is from him, he will give you the desire. That's why he said that desires of the righteous will be granted. God, you want me to do this business. if you want me to do it, there must be desire in me to do it. It's an equipment. Well, we cannot be somebody of many parts if you want to succeed in any area. Those of us who have done PhD, you know your PhD doesn't mean that you are very good. It means you have narrowed your interest. Just narrowing your interest. If you want to succeed in PhD, please narrow your interest. If you want to succeed in business, you must specialize in a certain area. That is my own experience in Pharmanews, which I'm sharing. You cannot move in two directions simultaneously. It's impossible. You can only move in one direction. Nowhere. You can't move in two directions. So you must remain focused what you want to do. I have tried to remain focused. There are attractions to do certain things, but I said, no, I am not doing it. I want to remain where I am and carry on. There's no one God has created to be a jack of all trades. No. Otherwise, we are not unique individuals. You are meant to play your own part, and others we play their own part. When you are focused, you make plans. You set your goals for whatever you want to achieve. When you come to Pharmanews that we have been running every month, to run a monthly publication must imply plan so that it doesn't fail. It doesn't fail. And because it's God's business we are doing, and God is interested, it has not failed even once. He has made all the provisions. And I thank God, even for my own health, He has given me good health. So, I always challenge God. If you know it is your work, then guarantee my health too. But if it's not your work, anything can happen. At times you can threaten God, but pray, but threaten. So we must make plans. God wants us to make plans. They say that if you don't make plan, then you have planned to fail. It is our business to draw plan. But it is for God to okay the plan. That's why when you get to Proverbs 16:3, He said, these plans you have made, present them to me, so that I will establish your thoughts. What is your plan? Right, so I go through my PowerPoints here. So one, there must be commitment. Commitment. I have seen commitment, perseverance, determination as important ingredient in success. Where you are not committed, you are not likely to succeed. So I commit myself that every month this must come out. During the time of recession, I said it must come out. Recession or no recession. It must come out because I'm committed to this. And that is why in PSN, I committed myself that I'd like to attend conference. And from 1973 to this time, 45, I have not missed one. And it is just because of commitment. I say I will attend every year. I will attend every year. And then God makes a way for me. He provides the resources, provides everything, makes it possible. Just committed because I say I want to attend every year. So from 73 to this time, I have not failed. When I was attending FIP, I said, look, every year I'm going, some people will say they don't have money. I say, money, me, I'm off. Because of commitment. So when we are doing our own business, there must be commitment. One secret, which Ochuko has asked me to share, is that if we are to succeed, we must be working. There's an area God wants you to work. And that area he has actually prepared you from birth. He has equipped you. Because there are certain gifts, certain talents and abilities which are natural in you to enable you do the assignment he has given you to do. They must be there. What you do is to exploit them, those abilities, talents, and gifts to do the work. And the work I'm talking about is serving God. Whether you are doing it as a community pharmacist or lecturer in university or whatever, he has given you. But where those things are not there, you are not going to succeed. You are not going to make it. You are hitting against the rocks. In fact, the word of God has said in Proverbs 18:16, it talks of man's gift. That is what will take you where people will know about you. There must be integrity and honesty. Integrity and honesty. You don't tell lies. You keep away from lies. In fact, Revelation says that a liar will go to hell. Some lies, you may think they are small. But I believe that one of the things that has kept us in the industry, generations, is that when we say them this, they believe us. And when we promise, we fulfill. So Pharmanews has passed generations of Bob Manuel, Kobundo, and others to generations. Generations and generations. And I don't think any company has found fault with our service in the industry. No company. They believe us. When you are publishing, there's one common lie people tell. They produce 1,000 and they tell you they are producing 10,000. It's not taken as a lie. It's a common. But I say I will not be a part of this type of lie. So there was a time there was depression, and we must all know when there was fake drugs, when many companies closed down, some foreign ones left, employment went down, some pharmacists joined Dr. Wusika to be doing MPI or whatever. That time, things were so low in the industry. And in fact, I cut down Pharmanews from 5,000 to 1. And I told my staff, please let them know things are bad. And it's only 1,000 we can make. And in fact, if it got so worse, we shall wind it up. But as I said, I have always attended conference. Money or no money in my pocket, I must attend PSN conference. 2002, I managed to attend a conference in Calabar. We were at Metropolitan Hotel in Calabar. Then a certain man came, Indian, not tall. The name is Medrak, the name of the company. And it's Mahesh. You may know him. He came to me. They know me because of my beard. Say, you're Pharmanews. I say, yes, I can't hide. He said, okay. I want to discuss something with you. I said, all right. He said, how many copies are you making of Pharmanews? I said, 1,000. He said, no, I mean total. I said, 1,000. He said, but it's everywhere. I said, yes, we have dropped in print run because of the economy. The adverts are low, and we're just managing to keep going. But how many are you producing now? I said, 1,000. He didn't believe it. So he said, okay, we will discuss. When we returned to Lagos, he phoned me that we meet at a hotel in Anthony, Newcastle Hotel. Yeah, he came with a partner. They wanted to do business with Pharmanews. And the first question I had, Mr. Atueyi, now I want to discuss advert in Pharmanews. How many are you making? I said 1,000. He said, okay. He said, I want to supply copies to 1,200 doctors. Can you do it? I said, easy. Can you get names of doctors? 1,200. I said, I can do it. He said, okay. You will be supplying them and we'll pay. Medrak told me. And then he took advertisements. And also he took advertisement on the wrapper because the former man has stopped. So my business, what happened that year was just, I don't know how many percentage. I was printing 1,000 and he wanted 1,200 for doctors alone. And an advert in the paper and cover. So the way my business jumped up overnight. Why? Because I told the truth. If I had told lie, okay, it's a different thing. But it did not dawn on me until when I visited him. And he said, Mr. Atueyi, you know why I'm doing business with you? And I've told my Indian friends, if they are to advertise, they must go to Pharmanews. I said, I don't know. He said, he had been in the industry for donkey years. And those of you who know him, Mahesh, he should have been here for more than 20 years. He has been in the industry. Medrak. He has been here. Yes, and he has been in India. He said he had dealt with magazines for advertisement. But he had never seen one person who told me the truth about what is producing. You are the only person, Mr. Atueyi. I never seen it. Therefore, I will be with you in business. And I've told the Indian friends, if you want to advertise, please go to... So, I'm telling you, lies may help you to get something. But it is better when it is got through truth. It's more lasting. It's more durable. So, in our businesses, we keep away lies. That's what we have tried in Pharmanews, and I think there are some of the things that have kept us going all these years. And of course, I have my 10 minutes. I agree. So, you have just brought it. Okay, finally. One of the things that has kept us going is trying to manage what God has given to us. A staff of mine is here. And I believe that they are human resource God has placed under you for a purpose. So we must take care of them. We get money. Companies pay us, subscribers pay us. But that money, I still believe that it is the property of God. And I should not be careless with it. I must spend it judiciously. The time we have is God's time. So we can't mismanage our time. Our talents and abilities are all from God. So when we know that all we are doing, we are just stewards of God, then as stewards, we must do it to satisfy the owner of the work. And as Christians, whatever you do, do it as unto God and not unto man. And it is God who will reward. Man will never reward from the spiritual principles. God will reward. And with that, I say I want to thank you for the little things I have shared.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your commitment to this course. You said you weren't feeling too strong, but because of your love for the children of God in the industry, you still chose to come. Thank you very much. You are very well appreciated. At close to 80, you are still waxing strong and standing on your feet like...
This august body, the national body, also thank you for being here and keeping on till the end. Can we clap for ourselves, those who have stayed to the end? Clap for yourself again. It's not easy for the whole day. The Lord will bless us all in Jesus' name. Thank you. As is customary, this is one organization where we don't campaign to change the ESCO. We, by the same inspiration that started the fellowship, past leaders meet and appeal to some people to continue to lead. Actually, we make the appeal, not they don't beg us to vote for them. So some people have been so chosen to serve this time around. I was avoiding to call it selection. It's not selection. It's an inspiration to call them out, and they are coming out to be inducted. After this, still wait, there'll be an important announcement. Actually, something happened in Alpha Pharmacy yesterday. Some policemen stormed that place and wanted to do some mess, which we sorted out. So it's good that everybody should know so that if it happens around you, you know what to do. Okay? And so don't go. So when we finish it, I'll just take 2 minutes to say what happened. The president, let me start from ex-official, the outgoing president. So it's ex-official now. The PRO is Peter. Peter is still, come out Peter, is still effective. As a prayer secretary now, Nike Adenuga, Treasurer Tosi Adeyemi, FinSec Ifeanyi Atueyi, Secretary Adeshino Banubi, our own Shino, the Vice President, Jude, there are 2 Judes here who are Jude Chinemelo, Jude is Vice President. Then the President is Jude Elue. Can you come out? The member, Stanley Johnson. Is he here? Yeah.
Stop looking behind. Some people are still looking behind. When you hear your name, it's your name.
It's your name. We'll keep hearing that saxophone. Unless my own saxophone is growing dusty, maybe by next year, this member may teach me to bring out my own. And Funto is not here, but it's still one of the ESCO. Can we invite Atueyi, please, as the grandfather? They call me father. You are the grandfather now, so I'll hand over to you to just say a short prayer to bring these ones on board, hand them over to God to continue to lead. Lagos State has done very well. The national, for which I was the president for a few years, recognizes what Lagos is doing. Lagos actually is the CPFN, and we know that you will do much, much better than you have done before. Congratulations.
I congratulate the new ESCO. But please permit me to share one testimony. Will you give me 1 minute? Yes. I want to tell you something about service. How much are you going to be paid? Nothing. Okay. This thing happened to me. And I didn't know God was going to bless me through it. In 1974, there was conference of PSM in Kano. And the position of editor was vacant. Epunife was sick and nobody was keen on succeeding. So it was Julie Prince, who came to me. At that time, I used to drink beer. We were at a bar. And he said, Atos. I said, yes, Julie. He said, there's something we want you to do. You are going to be the editor-in-chief of the journal. I said, Julie, no, I beg. Don't disgrace me. Don't bring me into what I cannot do. Please. He said, no, just accept. I'll help you when we get back to Lagos. We'll do it together. I said, are you sure you'll help? He said, yes. He said, okay, put my name. And they made me the editor-in-chief. I accepted this position in November 1974. And when I took up this thing, it looks like I received intravenous injection into me. I had never done a thing like this. So enjoyable. At that time, I was production manager in Ikeja, Nigerian Chemical Services. And I needed to go to Apapa at Briscoe. I took my copy and went for interview. I said, this interview will work if you allow me to continue working on this journal when I'm here. If you will not allow me, I won't take your job. He said, is it your own? I said, it is not my own. He said, why? I said, I'm committed to this journal. I'm the editor. The guy said, don't worry. You have a secretary, you have office, you will still be doing it. I said, we can now discuss. And when I took this journal, I can say that contribution I made there, I don't know who has ever made it. It was me who changed the name to Nigerian Journal of Pharmacy. It was Pharmaceutical Journal. It was quarterly. I said we'll make it once in 2 months. And I brought adverts and they improved everything. It was yielding money. At that time, you don't have conferences, you don't have exhibitions, nobody was paying money to PSM. They were demanding money from journal. And I so loved the job. But when God told me, stop, I stopped. But I felt like somebody who has lost something. But I gave it up and forgot it. I didn't know that I have crisis in my office suddenly. And I started saying, what do I do? And God revealed to me, that's why I sent you there, to know what you would do. And that's why you study pharmacy. This year, B-Pharm is for you to do this work. And I said, I didn't know, sir. Yeah. This is the purpose. So when you talk of service, many of us go for money. How much is in there for me? But service, God said, he will reward you. It is not even from your employers. So when you serve man as if you are serving God, the promise he has made is that he will reward you. And when God makes a promise, don't allow him to deny. Hold him. But you said, you promised me, you will reward. Where is the reward? I want to see the reward. And he rewards. Praise the Lord. So these people are for service. In some organizations, they will be here. After that, they will disappear. You won't find them again. But they'll be writing their names. They are officers. But they work. No. So for this, I've been asked to pray. I don't want you to swear an oath, so we just pray. But we are before our fellow members, and we are all in presence of God. We are committing the lady and gentlemen who have volunteered to serve this association to God. Because they have said yes to this service, God will continue to fulfill their promises in their lives. Amen. I like the promise he's made in Exodus. He said that when you are serving him wholeheartedly, when you obey him and serving him, he will provide your water. He will provide your bread. That means food. You will not lack food because you are serving this fellowship. He said he will take sicknesses away from your body. This is God's promise as long as you are serving him. He said that he will take away barrenness from you. Barrenness could be in any form, including your business, anything. God says he will take them away from you. There will be no premature birth. He has promised that you live your full years. If God has given you 100 years, nothing will cut it short. If he has given you 90, nothing will cut it short. Why? Because he has promised that he will do that as long as you are serving him. Even in Job 36:11, we know that he said, when you are obeying him and serving him, you will enjoy your days in prosperity and your years in luxuries. When you talk of prosperity, when God has prospered you, my God, it means your family will be in prosperity. Your health, you will prosper. Your business, you will prosper. Your relationship, people will see that you are prospering and they will even envy you, but they will be giving glory to God. Father, we pray for these people. You bless them in their going out and their coming in. What they need to serve you, you will provide. Because you have promised that you supply our needs because you don't lack anything. They need money in the pocket, you will put money in their pocket. Whatever they need, Father.
Let me also turn to give you the National President's handshake. I'm acting on his behalf.